Welcome, one and all, to the Intellectual Freedom Podcast, where we explore ideas that challenge the status quo, expand your perspective, and empower your mind. I'm your host, Dr. David Hopkins, humanities professor, and I invite you on a journey of thought-provoking conversations as I step out of the college classroom to discuss, analyze, and critique all aspects of culture, society, and politics that impact your life today and have the potential to reshape your future. So welcome to a podcast that stands for the power of intellectual exploration. Welcome to the Intellectual Freedom Podcast. I'm real pumped about the topic today. For those of you that know me, when I took a podcasting article writing break earlier this year, I was deep diving into artificial intelligence. To get a foundation of this field, I took a 100-day Python coding challenge, and then I started studying TensorFlow, and just in a general knowledge capacity, studied a little bit on neural networks and how they operate, and how the incredible computing power that exists today has made it possible for AI and large language models to just burst on the scene with next level innovations. But what I really want to talk to you about today is one of the most important questions for the remainder, really, I believe, of the 21st century. And it fascinates me, and yet it scares me at the same time. So unless you live under a rock or you're in a complete denial, we are in the beginning stages of a technology revolution, the AI revolution, that's going to transform the world as we know it. But here's a question that people have very strong feelings about because, well, really, it cuts to the core of what makes us unique. Or at least it is what we think makes us unique in the universe. And here's the question. Do you believe a machine can think and learn like a human, or even better than a human? I mean, it's a huge question and a very complex question that right now is most likely no, it can't. But where machine learning is right now is miles ahead of where it was even 2 or 3 years ago. So the question isn't so much, can a machine think like a human today, but will it be able to do it very soon? But machines are, as we will talk about, starting to demonstrate learning capabilities that mimic a human being in a very startling fashion. Now, the human mind is extremely complex, as you know. We all know this. And the systems of artificial intelligence, I mean, they're getting more and more complex. I mean, it's fascinating how these neural networks work. But for today, let's not get all super sophisticated or complicated. Let's just take one very simple aspect of learning, how you and I learn, and try to apply it to artificial intelligence. And we're going to do this through what's known as the theory of mind. And so the theory of mind, which from the beginning was considered a uniquely human characteristic in which no other animal or species on Earth could touch intellectually, but now we have machines, AI, LLMs, or as they're called, large language models, that are proving to be able to think like a human, or if not exactly like a human, pretty darn close. Just the fact that I'm talking to you today about how the line between man and machine is blurring more and more is just even a little surreal for me, a bit sci-fi bizarro if you think about it. But this is the world we live, and this is becoming our reality, which we, as humans, as much as we may hate or fear or love this technology, it's here. So let's not shy away from the topic. Let's look at it square in the face and just dive into it. Oh, but before I go there, I need to give you a definition of a term that I'm going to infuse through this talk. So you know what the heck I'm talking about, and you and I are on the same page when I use the term the theory of mind. So if you ever took a psychology course or two in college, you may be familiar or at least heard of the term. Theory of mind is the ability to attribute mental states, beliefs, interests, desires, emotions to oneself and others, realizing these may differ from person to person. So the theory of mind. By the time we're done today, my hope is that you will have a deeper appreciation of how we think, how you and I think, and maybe a more nuanced feeling about AI, its capabilities, and its limitations. And if a machine, and maybe we can answer this question, can actually learn to think like us as humans. Because if it can, the implications are profound in a multitude of ways. Maybe the most significant implication being, well, if a machine can think like us or as good as us, then it would logically seem possible it could ultimately, over time, think better than us, think deeper than us, think clearer than us, be more specific, and at a rate of learning that we can't, as humans, even begin to touch. That's where it starts to get a little scary. You know, for the longest time, I kind of just thought of machines, they're just unemotional, just calculating entities. I almost see in my mind, you know, a rack of servers just tirelessly churning out cold, hard data, disconnected from our messy and emotional human world that we live. But our reality is shifting. And machines are way more nuanced and riveting than I could have ever imagined. We're living in an era of AI, whether we like it or not. As with anything, we have just a lot of people and a lot of companies are welcoming this revolution with open arms, maybe even Pollyanna type optimistic about it. But others are viewing this thing with various degrees of hate or fear. I'm not sure where you are. Maybe you're somewhere on this spectrum, but ready or not, the reality is here. AI is here, and it's here to stay. What fascinates me, and perhaps you too, is how these machines, they're evolving right in front of our eyes. They're not just becoming better calculators or kind of masters of productivity and efficiency. They're starting to understand, empathize, and predict things. They are mimicking and conversing with us on platforms like ChatGPT or Google's Bard, just to name two, and there's hundreds of them out there, in a very human way. It almost seems in some conversations that it is learning based on our language we type and input, that it can attribute mental states to you and I or even others. You and I, we just naturally, we do this all the time, right? We when we're sitting and we're talking with someone, or even like you're listening to this podcast, you can't see my facial features. You can tell the tone of my voice. When you're sitting in front of somebody, you can see their body language, and you can tell the words they choose to use. And it doesn't take long for you to figure out what that person is feeling that you're talking to, with at least, a fairly good degree of accuracy. There's great liars, there's great fakers out there, obviously. But in general, when you're talking with someone and you're watching someone and you're communicating with them, you have that ability. Well, these machines, based on our inputs, are starting to grasp that we, the creators of them, that we have mental states different from their own. That's inching towards exhibiting the same theory of mind principles as humans. Are you intrigued? Are you fascinated? Are you skeptical? Are you scared? Well, so am I. A little bit of all the above. Let's Let's explore what this dramatic shift in machine intelligence could mean for us as individuals and ultimately the human race. Now, here's my disclaimer again. I'm a humanities professor, and I have developed some fundamental programming skills and machine learning skills, at least from a functional standpoint. I've even done some work as an AI data trainer on the side as well. But by training and vocation, I'm a humanist by nature. Those of you that listen in know I'm a professor. I'm engrossed and trained mainly in the arts, philosophy, love religion, culture, politics, love that. And especially the mythological archetypes and different narratives of humans. But how people think and learn is fascinating to me, and it intersects with all kinds of my interests. And this is the perspective I approach machine learning and watching it evolve at lightning speed. But I am not a data scientist. I'm not a software engineer. So let's have a look at this. So consider the digital universe that you and I are part of. It's undergoing this fascinating revolution. You know, the headlines about AI trouncing human grandmasters in chess or beating somebody in the very complex game of Go. They're not even surprising anymore. They don't even make the news. These machines now just basically kick our butt in these games of intellect and thinking. Passed us by a long time ago. And I mean, it is impressive and even a bit humbling for some of the greatest grandmasters getting trounced by a machine. Or the other day, I saw a documentary where an AI machine trained to learn all the dogfighting techniques in flying an F-35. Well, the military literally trained this machine to be a Top Gun level aviator. And when they put the machine to the test against an actual combat-hardened pilot with over 100 missions under his belt, it literally wiped out one of our most skilled Air Force pilots in simulated dogfighting. The machine killed our pilot 100% of the time. So, yes, all that is insanely impressive. But really, it's just the tip of the iceberg of AI capabilities. You see, we as humans, we have subtler skills that machines have not mastered. These subtle skills, they're woven into our very intricate social fabric. And these skills are things like the ability to infer things. We have intuition. We have creativity. And these are squishy attributes. And they are what make us human. In all of history of humanity, they have separated us from all other things and species on the planet Earth until now. Enter these advanced AI platforms like OpenAI's ChatGPT. These platforms show us that machines can understand and react to nuances within our language, hinting at a budding artificial intuition. Mid-Journey, you can tell it to create an image for you, and it literally, based on a massive database, will create an image in just about any format you want. I mean, the pace at which this is happening is, to be frank, absolutely stunning. So as we stand here on this new frontier, we need to ready ourselves for a future where our machines mirror us more closely than we ever thought possible. This takes us to the crucial concept I've been hinting at since I started this talk, and that's the theory of mind. This theory, in a nutshell, is all about our ability to understand, empathize, and predict the thoughts and emotions of others. It makes us human. As we witness these inherently human traits merging with AI, it's hard not to marvel at the possibilities here. So what is that theory of mind? Well, this concept, it goes all the way back to the 1980s. It was created and it began as a way to understand the social and communication challenges faced by individuals with autism. That's where it kind of comes from. But this is where it emerged. But today it's helping us see how AI breaks barriers in its own mental capabilities and starts to mirror humans. So just to reiterate one more time, As repetition, as we know, is the mother of learning, the theory of mind is the ability to attribute mental states, beliefs, intents, desires, emotions to oneself and others, realizing these may differ from person to person. That's a big one, realizing that they may differ from person to person. So theory of mind lets us predict and interpret behaviors. It's a compass that guides us in our social interactions as we grow from infancy to adulthood. We learn to observe and imitate and interpret a huge range of experiences, and everything that you have went through in your life are all fundamental steps towards developing your unique perspectives that you have today as you're listening to me as a human being. You are who you are based on the experiences and the growth that you've went through. But you learn them. You learn them over time as you experience life in whatever format, all the good, all the bad, all the ugly. And now these abilities to interpret things are emerging in our AI machines. So let's break it down. So the development of theory of mind, these stages. The first stage that we have is what's known as the wanting stage, where we recognize that people have different desires and they act differently to achieve them. You remember the terrible twos, or maybe you have someone who's in their terrible twos, or a grandparent, you see someone in their terrible twos. These children this age will literally still believe the entire world revolves around them. And to put it mildly, they struggle to appreciate and understand anything except what they want and when they want it. And when they want something, they want it now and they expect it right away. And if not, well, if you have had kids, you know what that can be like. But eventually, even your most hell-raising child, if you bring them up properly, they begin to figure out soon enough that there is much more to the world and to life than just themselves. So then they move on to what we would call a thinking stage. Because once you realize that others can, and they often do, have different beliefs about the same thing as us, you begin to evolve your mindset as a human. You're growing intellectually once you realize that not everybody thinks, acts, or believes the same way as you do. Look, no further than, say, the political divide or social issues, to name just a couple of very adult issues where thinking skills change how you view the world. And you realize that not everybody thinks nor acts the way that you do, or maybe the way you would like them to do. But then as your mind continues to evolve, you begin to understand that seeing leads to knowing. You begin to figure out that different people can access different knowledge than you have. You start to realize, some people can master certain skills easily, while others, well, they can't or don't. I never minded algebra when I got to high school, but to this day, geometry is a foreign language. Not just a foreign language, like a dead language, like a hieroglyphic language that no one speaks or understands. And I learned others, well, they could get it, but I didn't ever. And I don't think I probably ever will. So that stage of seeing leads to knowing fits in right here. But along with this piece of understanding that certain people seem to have different knowledge than you or have access, but actually we sometimes as humans fall prey to what's known as false beliefs. And some people will think some things are true, real, or valid when in fact they are not. Their judgment, it gets clouded from facts. It's a sticky problem, especially in our postmodern world where people can quite easily get wrapped up in false beliefs. And then even when proven wrong, well, they won't deviate from their opinion no matter what. Maybe you know someone like that. And finally, as humans, we realize that people often on purpose or subconsciously have hidden feelings. We recognize that people can hide their genuine emotions. Humans can wear masks very easily. Heck, in a given day, you can wear multiple masks, and you surely do. You talk, act, dress a certain way at a business meeting. Then when you go out with friends on a Friday or Saturday night, you talk, act, and dress in a completely different way. I think one of the reasons why people love animals so much is, well, they feel what they feel and they show what they feel all the time. They just simply don't demonstrate that very human trait of being able to fake, to trick, or wear different masks. There are no hidden feelings, but humans, yeah, we have them all the time. And when somebody says, "Oh, I always keep it real," no, they don't. No, they don't. All people demonstrate this characteristic. All that blustery toughness of, "I always say it like it is," well, could just be one of the masks that they're wearing. So these are the traits that are studied with the theory of mind and at what level they reach. You can see they are very specific to a human experience in nearly every way. Now, I'm obviously simplifying a very complex psychological field of study down here, but these stages, these aspects of the theory of mind, these things are all part of your mind and my mind, and we've developed them over years to build these traits that make us human. And as I go over them, I don't think it's rocket science. You understand that you, being human and being intelligent, understand that these exist in you and in humanity in general. But we believe that humans are the pinnacle of thinking, and only we possess these characteristics. Yet, now with AI making rapid strides, it's plausible and it's being documented and it's being demonstrated that AI is starting to show some of these characteristics, like detecting hidden emotions are within the grasp of AI. Not only verbally, but maybe with facial recognition software or speech recognition software, in addition to the large language models. Each day as I engage with AI like ChatGPT, I witness it adapting to the context. It understands nuances. If it screws something up, I can re-ask a question or talk to it with different words, and it provides eerily human responses. AI in so many ways seems to reflect the basic principles of the theory of mind, suggesting that, at least at a basic level, these machines are starting to think like us. I mean, don't shrug your shoulders at this. Think about it just for 1 second, as it is literally a historic development that humans have created a machine that can literally communicate like a human, as if it's human. And frankly, it's a stunning, if not life-altering creation. So as we merge human cognition with machine precision, an unexpected question looms. Are we and our brains as humans truly as complex and sophisticated as we like to believe we are? You know, throughout history, from religion, we're told that we are created in God's image to rule over all the beasts of the world. Whether that context could be Christianity, Islam, or any religion across any culture, every religion sort of elevates humans, not to godlike status, but at least to ruler of the material world almost always. We often think of ourselves as the apex predator, both physically and intellectually superior. But what if we're not really that special after all? Our advancements in AI are making us question our complexity and edge closer to a deeper understanding of human cognition, how it happens. It almost seems that we can replicate our brains with server farms in the middle of Wyoming. In our quest to build intelligent machines, we might discover that the most profound revelations aren't about machines, but about us. After all, the journey of AI is a journey into ourselves, a journey that promises to redefine our relationship with technology and our very understanding of what it truly means to be human. I mean, think about that for a minute. What if our mind and intellect can be mimicked by some hardware running in some warehouse? All the brilliant and amazing innovations, the God-inspired, or if you're an atheist or humanist, pinnacle of human intellect is really nothing more than neural nodes in our brain that can be replicated in a server across large language models. That is more than a little scary if you stop and think about it. Maybe scary is wrong. Maybe we should be humbled that, our mental capacity, our brains firing, which is amazing, undoubtedly. But what if we can replicate them? Now, as we're talking today, most studies, and there have been many, many studies to verify this, and I'll even drop a couple in the show notes here. They put the capability, the mental capability of AI machines, if you take theory of mind, on about a 9 to 10-year-old child. Could it get to the level of a fully functioning adult? It's an interesting question. At this point, with enough computing power and innovation and technological advances, it seems hard to believe that AI won't get there. I think the train has already left the station on slowing down or stopping this innovation. And my guess is we will get there quicker than we thought, just as even a few years ago, the thought that a machine could at any level demonstrate characteristics of having the theory of mind like humans, that was unheard of in most circles. The ride, I'm sure, is going to be bumpy, crazy, probably shocking and scary. But I, for one, I'm so curious to see where it leads us because, as I've said so many times, whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay. So it's important that you and I, and everyone for that matter, learns and pays attention to this because it's going to have a dramatic influence on society one way or another. It could be catastrophically bad, could be amazingly good. Pretty much any conceivable outcomes possible. And probably there's ways we haven't even conceived of yet. Are you ready for this revolution? How do you see it impacting your life? These are questions you should probably start asking yourself a little bit. Maybe even as you're listening to this right now. I know I'm thinking about it. I wish I could just give you the answers. It would be beyond arrogant to pretend like I have them. My crystal ball is broken, and I have no clue how fast all the old things are going to fall apart, and they're going to be replaced. But I can tell you this. I'm doing everything I can to try and understand the technology and keep up with it. And I think it's probably a good idea that you do too, because this technology is here and it's here to stay, and it's becoming more and more human all the time. Thank you for listening in today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and leaves you with something you can take forward and utilize in your life, or maybe gives you a new perspective and understanding. If every single day we just pick up a little bit of insight, knowledge, or spark of curiosity, then by the end of the year, we'll be miles ahead of where we are right now. So I encourage you to continue nurturing your curiosity with an open mind and an open heart. If you found value in our discussions and want to stay connected, don't forget to hit the subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. By subscribing, you never miss an episode. Oh, and one more thing. Consider subscribing to my newsletter. A link is provided in the show notes. I publish articles, discuss books I'm reading, provide curated content directly to your inbox, and it's always free 100% of the time. And just as I despise being spammed in my inbox, I promise I never sell your information and I won't abuse your time by sending you stuff constantly. So as we wrap up today's journey, remember that the pursuit of knowledge and understanding knows no bounds. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep pushing the boundaries of your intellect. Together, we're creating a community that values ideas and fosters intellectual freedom. Until the next time, keep your mind open, your heart curious, and your spirit free. Thank you for being part of the Intellectual Freedom Podcast.